Hey everyone, Shabby Gamer here, and welcome back to another episode of our Gibraltar Challenge here on Football Manager 2016. Right, so last episode we noticed that we were actually in the Europa League. We didn't... well, you guys might have realised, but I completely didn't realise that if you lose in the Champions League playoff, you go straight into the Europa League. So I was quite happy with that, actually. I think the Europa League is much more our sort of level, as you saw in last episode, when we defeated AEK Athens 4-1 at home. So we really sort of put them in their place, and now we do in this episode have to play away at Dortmund, and Dortmund are going to be the more difficult team in this group. I think Steaua Bucharest and the other game against AEK, I think we might be able to do quite well, but Dortmund I think could be a struggle. But then again, this is the same team that last year defeated Barcelona at home, drew Barcelona away. We also got a draw with Marseille as well, so we're a much better team than we sort of give ourselves credit for. But yeah, I think Dortmund is going to be a struggle, but let's find out exactly how we get on. Of course, first we're going to have this game at home against Gibraltar Phoenix in the First Division. We're probably going to switch and change our team across both games just to try and make sure everyone's fit for that game against Dortmund. Don't want to risk picking up any injuries or anything like that. But enough blabbing on, let's get straight into that first match against Gibraltar Phoenix. And here we are for our first league game of the season. As you can see, massive favourites as normal now. A few of the other clubs in Gibraltar are starting to pick up some of the players that we've released, so that's quite good to see. Some players that are not of Gibraltarian nationality, but some of the younger players we signed up, and we were trying to develop into better players, but they weren't quite progressing at the right level for us, so we did release them. And now I think a few of the clubs, I think Gibraltar United's picked up a couple, Glasses got one, I think Lynx has picked another one up as well, so it's going to be interesting to see if they can keep a hold of those young players, and if those young players will gain Gibraltarian nationality by playing in this country for some time. Right, as you can see, we're massive favourites for this one. We have switched the team around quite a bit, and we've changed the formation as well. I just want to try and keep a lot of people fit if we can. As you can see, there's quite a strong bench for this game. So we've gone for Badji in goal. Our Senegalese goalkeeper we brought last year when we sold Machego to PSG, wasn't it, for 5 million quid? Couldn't believe that. And then we've got 3 centre-backs when the game loads. There we go. So we have got Lauren, the Brazilian we brought in the summer, getting his first league start. I think he's a good player. I think he's going to be much more potential than current ability with this lad. So hopefully we can get the best out of him. Alongside him we have another Brazilian in the shape of Lima. This is his second season with us now, I think. Yeah, second season with us now. Alongside him we have Jim Morrison, a player who probably isn't as good as some of the others we have now, but he is quite close to getting Gibraltarian nationality, so we do keep him around for as long as we possibly can. Oh god, I hate when that happens. How long has he got now? He's got less than a year, so by the end of the season Jim Morrison will be able to play for Gibraltar, which is going to be a massive boost for them. In defensive midfield we're sticking with the Brazilians. We have Felipe, a player who played 10 games for us last season, so not someone who is a firm favourite in the first team, but still a very useful player, and he's very good compared to some of the players we've got as well. One of the younger players are playing central midfield, and that is Adama Jeje. Played a couple of games last season, didn't he? I think he's not played a league game as yet. Oh, he's not played anything, apparently. He's played 1 game in the Cup so far for us, so this is his first ever league game. Didn't play at all last season. Alongside him we have Frank Evans, of course, our Gibraltarian player, who... we had him now for a very, very long time. This is, yeah, as you can see, he's been with us for a very long time. Unfortunately, when we went professional, he sort of dropped out of favour a little bit. So we're going to try and give him some more football again. Want to make sure that he stays in the Gibraltar side because he's a fantastic player. Down the left, we're going to be playing Christian Ataganya because he's unhappy about not playing enough games of football. But still, he's a very good player. It's just been a bit of a struggle for him to get ahead of some of our other left midfielders, namely Finn Baird. Attacking right midfield, we've got Martin Hernandez, one of the players we brought in the summer. Again, I think he's a lot more potential than current ability, but we'll see how he gets on. We paid a little bit of money for him, but it could end up being a risk. But either way, his stats aren't fantastic, but he's only 20 years old, so hopefully they can grow along with him as well. Then up front, we're playing Robert Tomic as a target man, the big lad. 10 goals in 15 games is quite a good return, actually. He's been with us now. This is his 3rd season with us. Didn't play at all in his first season. Played 15 games last year, so he can really burst onto the scene last year. And then alongside him, Maximiliano Bustamante, a player we've had now. This is his 4th season. As you can see, his first year was very strong. He's struggled to get a lot of first team football, but I do really like him. And again, he's a player who could potentially become Gibraltarian in the next couple of years as well, so definitely worth keeping a hold of him. Right, on the Gibraltar Phoenix side, no one who really jumps out as a player that we've had in the past. Drimmy has been knocking around for quite a long time. They've got Nuristani on the bench, who I think started the game with us. I think he was Danish at the time. But let's get straight into the game. Let's see if we can start off the season with a win. As you can see, this is the first time a lot of these players have played this season, which isn't a major thing, because of course we've only had the Pepe Reyes Cup so far, and we've also done our Champions League qualifiers as well. So not a lot of people can play in the Champions League because of the limitations of the group. So it's a little bit more difficult. So now we're into the league. It means that anyone who's not in our Europa League squad will definitely get a lot more first team football in the actual league and cups, which is going to keep them happy as well, I think. So, 5 shots in the first 15 minutes isn't bad at all. Only 1 on target, and that's always something that worries me, is just our clinicalness. Is that a real word? Clinicalness? Something like that. And hopefully as well, this new stadium is going to be built, I think it's around about March, I think it said. So towards the end of the season, we should have a nice new big stand, and we can start to hopefully get some more money in through gate receipts, which would be fantastic. Loran heads it forward. Bustamante. Oh, he did manage to knock it onto Tomic, who's in. Can he score? He does. Robert Tomic with a goal. Bustamante. I'm not quite sure if Bustamante meant to play that through, but it went through nonetheless. And Robert Tomic gets the goal. Let's see a replay of that, because I'm not quite sure. Was that Tomic, or was that... I think that could have been Garrido's slide tackle. Just knocked it away from Bustamante into the path of Tomic. But either way, it's a great finish as well, because he gave himself a lot of work to do, Tomic. From the outside the area like that to play it past the keeper. A lot of work. Ataganya's been booked already. Plays it forward to Deje. That was a cheeky little turn, that was, Deje. To Frank Evans, a player who's been fantastic for us over the years, and plays it through to Tomic. Oh, he almost got himself a second. It was a great ball that by Frank Evans. I really like Frank Evans. It's just a shame that I think his potential is just cut short. And that's one of the things with this game. Every single nation has a hidden youth rating score, and depending on the youth rating score, that is how good of a young player your country can produce. Doesn't matter how much money you throw into it, or how many fantastic they've scored, or how many fantastic youth coaches you have, or anything like that. It's limited to the sort of quality of players you can get. And I'm going to try, obviously we've spent £10 million into our youth academy this season, which should come into effect hopefully from this first set of youth players we're going to get in the new year. I'm just hoping that we do get at least 1 or 2 players that we can look at and say, yeah, these are potential players that could go on to play for the first team in Gibraltar. But for the last few years, I think gradually our youth influx has become worse and worse since we started the game. Of course, Frank Evans, one of the players we got, I think in like Season 2 or Season 3, and he's been a fantastic player for us since then. But the youth inputs since then have really gone downhill, I'm afraid. But hopefully with the £10 million we're investing this season, hopefully that's going to spark back into life a little bit. Tomic plays the ball back to Loran. I would like to go into half-time back in the lead, and we do have a highlight. JJ. Cross to Frank Evans. What can Evans do? Playing the box-to-box midfielder role here today, Frank Evans. So he's going to have a lot of energy to get up and down the pitch. Ball into Tomic. Oh, come on, Tomic. If you turned your head there, you could have seen Bustamante in space. Tomic again. This time does see Bustamante in space. Oh, great save by Halliday. And it's cleared. Now, our aim this season is to win every single game in the league. And our last 2 years, it's been, I think, year before last, we lost 1 game, won all the rest. And last year, we drew 1 game and won all the rest. So hopefully this year, we can get full wins. But at the moment, we're drawing this game. Ataganya now switches to the other side. Into Frank Evans. It's going to go out for a corner. JJ's going to take the corner. Plays it in perfectly into the middle of the area. Loran. Oh, it's saved again by Halliday. And for me, it looks like just a matter of time before we can break through and get this second goal. But I'd rather get it now rather than messing around. Great ball by JJ. Seeing Ataganya. We're on the attack again straight away. Ball into the middle. Bustamante heads it into the back of the net. And great attacking play there. JJ played it out wide to Ataganya, crossed it into Bustamante, and both of our strikers have picked up a goal in the first half, which is good to see. It was a great ball, and luckily we missed the pass there by JJ, but it was a fantastic ball, and Ataganya's cross was incredible as well, and Bustamante still have a lot of work to do, headed it back into the net, and still 16 shots, 8 on target, 2 goals. I'm a little bit disappointed with the return. However, it's not bad, is it? Things are going well, but we know you're capable of better, I think is the best way to go on this one. Didn't give us any greens, but I think it's the best thing to say. Because things are going well, you're winning the game, but at the same time, I'm not overly impressed by winning 2-1. I suppose it's not bad. We've done well, we've dominated the game. It just amazed me with possession, because we've got 50% of possession, but we're dominating the shots. And they've got 50% of possession as well, so it makes you wonder what they're doing with it. Or are we just getting the ball and literally playing it straight forward? Are we just going for it straight after? As soon as we get the ball, we're just going for it. I'm losing the ability to talk now. We're always looking to try and play the killer ball and go forward and attack, whereas they're probably retaining possession just to stop us doing that. Bustamante now. Nice cheeky little ball through to Tomic, and it is a goal. Is it onside? Yes, it's not been flagged off yet. Yeah, there was a hint of offside there for me, but still, it's a good goal. Was he offside? No, he's just being kept on there by the right back. And I'll tell you what, these two guys together, Tomic and Bustamante, seem to have quite an understanding between them. I like that. I think they sort of know where each other's going to be. They're really working well together. So 3-1 up now. Half an hour left. Do we have anyone on the bench we want to bring on? Oh, we've got a corner first. JJ wasn't the best of corners, but it's going to come back out. He's going to get another chance to cross the ball in. That's a better one. Bustamante, he scores. And now it's all starting to fall into place now. 2 goals each for the strikers. JJ, again with another fantastic ball. He had to make up for that poor corner, didn't he, really? There was the ball in, and Bustamante heads it in. That's 2 headers today for Bustamante now. So let's have a look at the bench, won't we? I don't think we need to bring any of these guys on, really. So just save them for that game against Dortmund. Baez might do well from getting a little bit of football, but then again, I don't really want to risk. Now, we'll leave it as it is. All these players don't often play, so we might as well give them the full 90 minutes, really. Baez is going to be playing against Dortmund, so I don't want to risk bringing him on. He's not 100% match fit, but I don't want to risk him getting injured or him tiring himself out as well, because that game is only in a few days' time. Laurent plays a good ball out. Frank Evans showing strength there to get the ball and plays it to JJ. Evans now brings it forward. Evans has had a good game. I want to try and play a few, because I've got about 3 or 4 Gibraltarian players still in the squad, so I want to try and play a few of them more this season, just to keep them match fit, because at the moment, even though they're the 4 best players in Gibraltar, I think, well, in my mind anyway, even though they're the 4 best players in Gibraltar, they're not getting into the national side because they're not playing enough first team football. Oh, Tomic almost got himself a hat-trick there. So just by playing them here and there, I'm not going to go mad, I'm not going to make them first team choices for every single game, because obviously they're not quite at that level, but I still think playing them as much as we can, just to keep them fit and to keep them in mind of the national manager, I think is going to be the best thing. And of course, players like Jim Morrison and Nick Harlton have both been on and off, whether they're happy or not, over the last few years being here. And I think once they both gain Gibraltarian nationality, if somebody does come in for them, we might let them go, because I think we have better defenders now. Of course, we brought that lad in from Anderlecht recently, and he's a cracking player, only 18 years old as well, so I think he's going to be one of our key defenders going forward. And Laurent as well, I think, has got a big future ahead of him. So if somebody does come in for Nick Harlton or Jim Morrison, as long as they've gained the Gibraltarian nationality, I'm quite happy to let them go, because they're not our first team choices anymore. Unfortunately, they're them too, but I'm only really keeping around to try and gain them the nationality so they can play for the national side. So if somebody like a League 1 or a League 2 side that have been interested in the past, if they come in for them, then we will let them go. And there we go, a 4-1 victory in the opening game of the season against Gibraltar Phoenix. I'm happy with that. It looked a little bit shaky up until half-time, but we turned it around in the second half. Bustamante, Gets the man the match of a 9.2 rating, 2 goals and an assist as well. But everyone on the pitch looked pretty good. Frank Evans got a 7.8. I think he deserved more than that, because what we saw of him, he looked very, very good. JJ with 1 assist got a 9.0. He had a fantastic game, JJ, and I think he's got a good future ahead of him. He's only 18 years old, Ivory Coast player. That's his first ever league game. I think he'll get some more football this year. If he can keep growing the way he is, then I think he's going to be a cracking player for us. So let's have a look at the league table. I should imagine we're going to be top. Yes, we are. Well, that's because obviously no one else has played yet. Well, only Gibraltar United and Lincoln have played, and they drew 1-1, which is good for us, I suppose. I don't really think it matters too much, but Gibraltar United and Lincoln are probably the 2 of the stronger clubs in the country. So with them 2 drawing, it sort of puts us top of the table by ourselves, really, now. So yeah, let's get straight into that game away at Dortmund and see what we can do there. And here we go, there's a little bit of interesting news. Just managed to sign up a new Brazilian striker as well, which is quite good. I weren't expecting to get in this quickly. I thought I'd end up signing him up first, and then he would end up coming over in January, which normally happens. So his name is Andre. I think he looks pretty decent, 18 years of age. As you can see, the scouts and the coaches think he's going to be a superb player in the future. He looks pretty decent now, actually, as well. Released by Palmeiras. And he actually played 31 games for Palmeiras last year in the league as well. And he scored 2 goals as a striker. Wasn't the most fantastic a player, was that? But I think he's going to be a really... Oh, it was 26 league appearances and 5 starts. So it wasn't too bad, I suppose. But still, I think he's going to be a good player for us. If he's playing in the Brazilian first division, he's definitely going to be a good player for us. I'm going to actually send him... I've never done this before. I'm going to send him on an intensive language course, which might help him out. But the thing that made me laugh is that we've signed him, and literally the day after we've signed him, he's been called up for the Brazil under-20s. Which is pretty good. I don't normally show you this, but let's have a look at the players that are playing for their nation. We've got Michael Vega and Jonathan Masquera playing for the Ecuador under-20s. Aldo Rodriguez going for the Paraguay under-20s. Masadi playing for the Algeria. David Sanchez is playing for the United States. Ben Knox and Andre both playing for Australia and Brazil under-20s. Yeah, whatever. Marlon Manning, a player we've not really used much at all. He wants to leave. So I don't really want to play him because he's very unhappy, but he's playing for Montserrat still. Matteo Leandri's been called up for Canada. He's already got 4 caps actually for Canada. He's actually not too bad, is he? Canadian centre-back. He's never played for us, so I'll have to give him a chance at some point. Eric Franks has been called up for the American national side. Ah, that's a little bit annoying. Okay, well it looks like he's not going to gain Gibraltarian nationality then, is it? Stefan Dammer, Chris Morgan and Jared Murphy all going into the Australia side. Obef Patino has been called up for Colombia. Of course, he's a fantastic player. He's already got 3 caps on him as well. And Kleber Mendez is going in for a game for Ecuador. He's already got 2 caps for them as well. And Luis Cabrera, the player we brought in the summer, the Uruguayan player, he's been called up for Uruguay as well for his 11th cap. So he's a cracking player. I really like this lad. And here we go. This game away at Dortmund. Look, you can see in the background just how many people have turned up for this one. It's amazing when you come to some of these bigger stadiums. It's just such an eye-opener because I'm so used to playing that tiny stadium in Gibraltar now that every time we come to one of these, it stuns me. So as you can see, Dortmund are massive favourites for this one. So like I say, I think as long as we can finish second, then I think AEK and Steaua Bucharest are teams that we can beat. It's just Dortmund we're going to struggle against. If we can pick up a draw against Dortmund at some point, that would be fantastic, but I'm not quite sure if it's going to happen or not. But so we look at the team we've got out here. Then we've got Ramito in goal. We brought back our strongest players for this one. Left back we have Renato Evola. I really like that player. I think he's fantastic. Into centre back we have Obef Patino, whose stats are a little bit up and down at the moment. Not quite sure why that is happening at the moment, but hopefully it changes. Alongside him, Simplice McKendy, one of the players we brought in the summer. Really good player. I think he's got a massive, massive future with us. 19 years old and he's that good already. At right back we've got Stefan Dammer, the 24-year-old Australian with 21 caps for the national side as well. Shows you the sort of level of players we can buy in now. Chris Morgan, 7 caps for Australia as well. He starts. He's getting... I tell you what, some of these players we brought in from Australia, that they weren't anything special when they started, but they've really just grown into such fantastic players. Alongside him, Luis Cabrera comes in. Again, another fantastic player, fresh off the Champions League, fresh off the World Cup over the summer. That's, again, the sort of players we're buying now, are World Cup players. Martin Hernandez is up the left. That's because Finn Baird is injured. So this is going to be a little bit of a weak spot for us And we put Hernandez in the squad because he can play quite a few positions. So we've not got anyone stronger up that left side, unfortunately. AD Day is going to play at the right-hand side. And again, his stats are dropping a little bit. Not quite sure why that is happening. I think it's just because it's still quite fresh into the new season. Everyone needs to get back into playing first-team football. Christian Bayers, another player who's struggling. And his match sharpness, I don't understand what happened. His match sharpness was 89% a few days back. And now, all of a sudden, it's dropped to 66%. I'm not quite sure why that has happened, but hopefully he's going to still put a decent performance here this evening. And then Joe Stevens up front, the player we brought in from Leicester in the summer, another fantastic signing. Hopefully he's going to do well for us here this evening as well. So, if they've got anyone, they've got Kuki, who's a young player you can buy at the beginning of this game. He's a young Spanish player at the beginning of the game. He's 28 now, he's a good player. Their key player is this guy at the front, Loran. Yeah, he's definitely their key player. Wow. I want to sign a player like that. That'd be amazing. So let's get straight into the game. Let's see how we can get on. Let's see if we can, let's see, calm. Go out there and pull off an upset. That seems to have not annoyed anyone. That's good. Passionate. What do we normally do? I can't remember. It's normally calm. I believe in you, isn't it? I completely believe you got what it takes. That seems to work. And for you as well. Okay, well that's made people green, so that's made them happy. Let's see how we get on in the game. Even if we just pull off a 0-0 draw, I'll be very, very happy. We are playing standard fluid. I don't know whether we should actually be playing more structured. And AEK have scored a goal against Steaua Bucharest straight away, which is probably quite good for us because we beat AEK 4-1. So if AEK can beat Steaua, then it probably means... Oh, so the Steaua have equalised straight away. So 15 minutes in, they've got to highlight Loran, their key player. Oh, it's a good goal. It's a good goal. 15 minutes in, we are losing now. 1-0 to Dortmund. Oh, I don't know what to do here. I don't know if dropping back to counter-attack is going to be a good option, or... They just split us apart there. They had so many guys in that spot. I think it was this guy here, McKendy, was keeping them, quite a few of them onside. I think that was a little bit of the problem. But we get an opportunity ourselves. We've had 2 shots. None on target so far. We've had 2 shots to their 5. So we're not doing too badly. See, even a 1 or 2-0 loss here wouldn't be the worst result in the world. Don't get me wrong, we want to get the points. We want to see if we can get through to the knockout stages of the Europa League, which would be absolutely fantastic. I'm not quite sure that's going to happen or not, but still, it's worth a look. It's worth a try. Come on. What have you got? What have you got? Come on, guys. Joe Stevens is only playing a 6.4, as is Patino. It's not very good, is it? Stevens now drops to a 6.3, but he's back up. And was that AEK going back in the lead? I just missed that. It was AEK going back in the lead. Interesting. So at half-time it is 1-0 to them. So it's not a bad result. Calm. It hasn't gone right for us so far. That seems to have made everyone happy, which is good. I like that. I like that. So we're standards. I think we'll continue on the way we are for now because we seem to be doing okay. We're getting a few opportunities and we've only conceded 1 goal. So we'll continue on with the same tactics for now and then maybe we'll change things around soon. Who have we got on the bench to make things? We've got a Tundi on the bench. Okay, I'm just trying to think now what we could do. I'm thinking maybe bringing on a Tundi, maybe putting Hernandez more centrally and bringing on a Tundi as an attacking central midfielder. AD Day can play that as well. But Dortmund are on the attack once again in the 55th minute. Don't want to concede another one. At the moment of 1-0 we could pull this back and maybe scrape a draw, but if we concede another one we're going to struggle. Whoa! That was high and no way mighty. So now we're up to the 60-minute mark. I think we might change things around now then. Alright, Hernandez is actually having a pretty decent game. But I am going to try and bring him off now because I think Serge Atundi. So if I brought Atundi in as a central and then Day in as a central as well. Day's not... Maybe we can just keep Day out wide and just play Atundi more central alongside Baez. Baez, who is struggling. He's struggling, but I think we'll leave him on for now. I'm just trying to strengthen up that left-hand side. I know it doesn't look right just having no width on the left and width on the right, but I think Atundi's a better player than Martin Hernandez, so it might work out better for us. We've had 4 shots, 1 on target. If we can... It only takes 1 goal, doesn't it? It only takes 1 scraped through goal to get a point in this game. And they have a corner. That just looked like a complete cock-up, didn't it? It's gone down as an own goal as well, which makes it even worse. Diaz heads it along. It's bounced off the post and hit the back of Dama. Just trust us to get that sort of luck in a game when we're trying to do well. Should we go control and see if we can get a goal back at some point? Who knows, if we can get a goal, then let's turn this around. But at the same time, we don't want to risk conceding any more and our goal difference getting put down. Probably should have taken Baez off by now, but we've only got 4 minutes left. We'll leave him on. So a 2-0 loss at Dortmund isn't actually the worst of results. If you think about the team we're playing against and the quality of the players they've got, a 2-0 loss is not a huge insult to us. Yeah, it's going to be 2-0, isn't it? Dama plays it forward. Day. Yeah, it looks like the referee's going to blow the whistle in a second. So yeah, 2-0 isn't the end of the world. I think if there was a draw between AEK and Steaua Bucharest right now, I think I'd be very happy with that. But I think that's still 2-1 to AEK, which again, it probably isn't still a bad result for us. Unlucky boys, it wasn't our night. Let's just keep them all on side. We don't want to risk ostracising anyone before we go any further. So AEK did beat Steaua Bucharest 2-1. Which is good for us because, like I said, we defeated AEK 4-1. So that means that, in theory, we shouldn't have too much of a problem with Steaua Bucharest. That's not too bad then. I think very much this is going to be like a league table between the 3 of us, and Dortmund are going to go through. But next episode we will have an away game against Steaua Bucharest. So that's going to be the time that we really sort of figure out how well we're going to do. Whether if we can beat Steaua Bucharest at Steaua Bucharest, then we've got a very good chance of going through in this group. In second place through to the knockout stages, which is fantastic. I don't think we'll get very far in the knockout stages, but just being there is a massive advantage for us. So yeah, that's going to be the end of this episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. Of course, if you have, then please do hit that like button. It does really help me out. And of course, if you are new around here, then be sure to hit that subscribe button as well. Also, if you look down in the description below, there will be a link to the Facebook page and the Twitter page of Europa Point. It's worth going over to having a little look, and obviously liking the pages while you're there. It's quite fun actually, because playing this game and then actually going to have a look at what's happening in the real Gibraltarian football is it's quite interesting to see exactly what's going on over there. And of course, we've all saw the valiant effort that Lincoln Red Imps put up against Celtic this year as well in the Champions League. So it's definitely worth having a look into. And I think there's actually a YouTube channel with a lot of the Gibraltarian football on there as well. So definitely worth a look. I've been Shabby Gamer. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.